Last night on LNU, had a great discussion with the panel, Everything King, Dosa Dion, Mark Orm, about Jared Goff and could this be his best statistical season in the NFL? We all had our thoughts on the matter, and I want to talk about that. Extended talk about Jared Goff, his expectations. Could he really have the best year of his career? Let's go ahead and begin. First off, as you know, I've preached this on my channel. When we traded for Jared Goff, I was excited about it because I felt like we got a decent quarterback in return. The media really hated Jared Goff. They said he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. I disagreed. They made him out to be a window licker, a crayon eater. I didn't see that at all. I seen Jared Goff as a pretty good quarterback in the NFL, and he did well with the Rams. You put players around him, and he can succeed as he went to a Super Bowl. So I'm not a Jared Goff hater, but I'm also not on the side that Jared Goff is the best quarterback in the NFL, MVP. He's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm pretty even-keeled on Jared Goff. I want this guy to succeed in a big way. He was disrespected, not just by the Rams and Sean McVay, but by the whole NFL. Fan bases around the NFL literally just tore this guy apart, and it was absolutely, in my opinion, unjustified. So to see him succeed in Detroit would be a great thing for me personally. I don't like the fact of how he was treated. Make sure you guys hit that like button really quick while we get into this subject about Jared Goff. So the question came up, will Jared Goff have the best statistical season in 2022 than he ever has had in his whole career? Last year, Jared Goff, I give this a mulligan. I give this a pass. Getting traded from a really good team, a Super Bowl caliber team, to a team that's in the year one of the rebuild with absolutely no offensive players to help him out, you would expect what we've seen from him in the first half of the season. That's what you expect. Then we get Josh Reynolds. We switch coordinators. His numbers got better. His efficiency on third down was really good. He's not turning the ball over via interception. He was starting to get confidence in the players around him, and his numbers went up, and he won games. Absolutely. So, can he have a really good season this year? I'm going to talk both sides. I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I'm going to be Homer, and then I'm going to give my opinion. So we'll start from there. First off, we'll start with the negative side first. Do I think Jared Goff is going to have the best statistical season? From a negative standpoint, what he does turn the ball over a lot via fumble, not a lot in interception. For him to have a better year, he has to surpass what he did in 2018. 2018, he went to a Super Bowl. He blew up numbers, killed it with the Kansas City game. He had an all-pro running back. Everything worked well for him under Sean McVay. Explosive offense, one of the best offenses we've seen in decades. So from a negative standpoint, there's no way he could do that, right? Because you would have to go to a Super Bowl. You would have to surpass all expectations. Do we have a running back like a Todd Gurley in 2018? I don't think so right now. I think we got a running back by committee, so that's going to absolutely hurt his chances to have a better year because defenses must pay attention to Jared Goff more than they did in 2018 because Todd Gurley was a major focal point for that offense. Do we have a brilliant mind offensively like Sean McVay did in 2018 and compared to now? Well, right off rip, you can say no because you don't know what you have with Ben Johnson. Now, I think Ben Johnson's really good, but you don't know. Is the Detroit Lions going to make the playoffs? I believe personally not. They do have a chance to make the playoffs. So, for them just not even making the playoffs, that would be lower than 2018. Let's jump on the positives here. Can he? Well, you look at the offensive weapons. Does he have a better wide receiver core on this football team than in 2018? I could say, yeah, from a depth-wise. From 1 to 6, they're all good. I have no problems if there's an injury, say DJ Chark goes down, that someone will step up. I mean, we really got a great depth. We don't have that Calvin Johnson, or we don't have that player that's the number one guy that everyone talks about, but we got a hell of a depth chart. So I could say, yeah. Is the offensive line better than the 2018 Rams? Yeah, I can say that right now. And you look at Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker, Penei Sewell, Jonah Jackson, Big V, they're all really good. Everyone say Big V may be the worst one. I don't think so. Lomas Brown said he played the best last year. And that's coming from one of the greatest linemen of all time. And Lomas was talking to Jonah Jackson, and he feels that Jonah Jackson's going to step up in a massive way and make another significant jump. And he believes the Lions could have the number one offensive line in the NFL. So there's 2 pluses there. Tight end position. TJ Hockenson is a really good tight end. If he can stay healthy, it's better than what they had in the Rams. The running game may be the biggest question mark, but when you have a great offensive line, you have a running back by committee, Swift stay healthy, and Reynolds and Williams. We may not have a Todd Gurley, but that's a really good depth there and a good switch up. So the chances for him to have statistical-wise a better season in 2022 is there. It's possible. But then you look at the defense. The defense is not as good as the Rams, and defense are really important for quarterbacks. Gives them an opportunity to stay on the field more, as we all know. It gives the opportunity, the football back to the offense for Jared Goff and the offense to get more points. I mean, we did get better on the defensive line. I felt like our secondary is pretty good at depth there. We may not have an Aaron Donald, but we have a good depth-wise, a good amount of defensive linemen that's consistently switched in and out and waves of them, hurting them. So, yeah, I think that the chances are there. If Jared Goff were to have a great season, I can see it. So you got the devil's advocate and you got the homer side. What do I think is going to occur? I personally don't believe he's going to have a better statistical season than 2018 because, first off, I think we're a year away from really being a contending football team. In 2018, they were, from top to bottom, their roster was really freaking good. Absolutely good. And for him, to get all these touchdowns and pay attention to Todd Gurley, everything was working well. It's extremely difficult to replicate that type of success. So even if he doesn't perform like a 2018, it's not bad. It's just that was such a great year. It was everything came together, and that seems difficult for that to happen again. I think Ben Johnson's going to open up the offense. I think they're going to put up more points. They're going to be a good offense in the NFL, 10 to 12. That's what I have there. And their schedule dictates that they could probably put up some more points. So I think he's going to have a really good year. I've been saying that Jared Goff's going to have a breakout season this year. A lot of people expect him to be terrible in the media. I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think he's going to surpass 2018 because that's really difficult to do so. It's possible. And if people think that, or if you think that the fan base thinks that, I'm not going to knock you for it. Not at all. Because it is possible. I think it's more probable. 10 to 12. He has a pretty good year. Something that you can hang your hat on. I think he's going to put up some touchdowns. Maybe 32 touchdowns. 4,300 yards. I think that's absolutely possible with the weapons he have. But to get to I just don't think the Lions going to get to the playoffs. Personally, they could as a wild card. I mean, I have them missing out. I would say, 35, 40% chance that they can hit the playoffs. I'm just a little bit, I don't think they're going to do it, 7-8 wins, but it's easy to flip one. And if you do make the playoffs We've seen it a million times where a team can make a run. I just don't think we're there yet. For Jared Goff to have that type of stellar season to go all the way to a Super Bowl, it just seems really difficult when I look at other teams that they have to face, like we do. If you're to make the playoffs, you're going to have to face the Rams, the Cowboys, the Packers, the 49ers. There's some good teams out there in the NFC, and I just think they're better than they are at this point, their team in comparison to ours, so that seems absolutely difficult. So no, I do not personally believe that he's going to have a better year all around than 2018, but that's not bad. That shouldn't be a knock. That shouldn't be a negative thing. It really shouldn't be. I think he's going to have a good year. I do, but it's like saying, when you look at Matthew Stafford, when he did in 2011, did he replicate after that? Not that statistical wise. We're talking 5,000 yards. He put up a mass amount of touchdowns, but hell, he done great as a Detroit Lion in his career. It's not a bad thing that he didn't replicate 5,000 yards. It's something that you don't want to do. It's something that's difficult to do every single year. So it's not a bad thing that I don't have Jared Goff replicating that. But he's going to have a good year in my opinion. Let me know in the comment section, do you think he's going to replicate that success? Why for yes and for no? Let me know. And if not, that's not bad. Tell me your touchdowns you think he's going to have, wins and losses. Do you think he can take this team to the playoffs? Let me know. I'm curious to see what you think on this one, because this is a great conversation, and we're literally, a couple months away from really seeing action on the field and see what he can do. With that said, folks, adios.
Perfect.